Ben Johnson was recently interviewed and he said something that got me super excited talking about year 2. Remember, last year was his first full year as offensive coordinator. So he's talking about his plans for next year and what he has in store. And I'll get to that in just a second, but let's just take a look at the history of our offensive coordinators. Let's go back here. Oh my gosh. I mean, Sylvester Croom. I remember, oh man, it's like, okay, here we go. We're going to run the ball. Maurice Carthon. Oh my gosh. Sherman Lewis. I remember him. Ted Tollner. Oh man. We're going back here. Mike Martz. Okay, this is when it was like, let's go. Mike Martz, are you kidding me? Our offensive coordinator? This is the offensive genius. Didn't work. I remember Jim Coletto comes in. He was there. He was our offensive coordinator when we went 0-16, making him the least successful offensive coordinator in Detroit Lions history. That is right. Scott Linehan. Okay, hey, he's innovative. This is going to work. No. Joe Lombardi. He's the grandson of Lombardi. What? Lombardi? We've got a Lombardi that's going to be coaching us? How could this not work? No. And by the way, I always see Joe Lombardi pop up in the most random places as like special teams coordinator for the Jets or something. He's always just pops up in weird teams. I bet he's been on 20 teams since 2014. That's an exaggeration, whatever. Jim Bob Cooter. Okay, funny name, but let's go. How many times did Jim Bob Cooter 4 wide with Stafford, shotgun? Look at the difference. We've got jet motions going across. We've got all this stuff going on. Then Darrell Bevel gave it a try. Not going to work. Anthony Lynn, not quite there. And then Ben Johnson. There he is. We've got Ben Johnson. So look at what we've had to go through. Offensive coordinators just never worked. It just wasn't working. Some of these names, I don't even remember these guys. Dave Levy, whatever. Doesn't work. We're finally at a place where we have Ben Johnson at the helm. So let's see what he had to say. So in a recent interview, he was asked about what's going to happen next year, whatever. He said he was in a staff meeting, offensive staff meeting, and they were joking around together about how far they've come from this time last year. He said they were doing a self-scout evaluation, looking at what they could do better, details, whatever. And he said he cannot wait for the jump that his offense is going to take in his second year. Again, this was his first full year. That second year jump, he can't wait to see as they clean up details, know each other better as far as personnel and what each other can do. Think about that. It took him, that 1-6 start. They were playing well, doing good things, but there was some Jared Goff things that didn't quite work out. Remember, he threw just brutal pick sixes that cost us, really. I mean, I know the offense was doing really well, but I mean, you cannot. There's some crazy statistic out there. A pick six or a scoop and score, the team that gets those is going to win like 98% of the time. It's such a humongous play in football. So I'm not blaming Goff on our losses when they're 1-6, but my point is there was just they were off just a little bit on some things. And so Ben Johnson's talking about wait until you see that jump from year 1 to year 2. So let me know in the comments if you're excited for that, because I kind of forget that Ben Johnson, this was his first full year. So he's talking about Mark Brunell, Antoine Randall L, Tanner Egerstad, or whatever his name is. Some of this, he said, I love the continuity in our coaching staff, number one. I love the continuity in our players. Yes, we've got DJ Chark. We've got some running back free agents. Don't know what the running back room is going to look like. But for the most part, you've got your core offensive players coming back, your quarterback, your offensive line, St. Brown, which, by the way, he said, can't say enough about St. Brown. You can do anything and everything with him. Let me just talk about St. Brown for a second. Think about St. Brown. I was thinking about this question. Would you rather have St. Brown or Kelvin Johnson? Let me know in the comments on that, because think about that. Kelvin, obviously, all-timer, love him, all these things, right? But he was so big, so strong that you had to do, guys were double teaming him. It was weird. It made the offense clunky almost, because it's like, well, we got to throw it to Kelvin. You just got to feed it to him. It doesn't matter if he's covered. Oh, there's 3 guys on him. Doesn't matter. And you're just forcing it to him. And yeah, he went up, made some great plays. Obviously, I'm not taking away anything from Kelvin, but you see where I'm going with this. St. Brown in motion, jet motion, can block, can take handoffs. He can short, intermediate, long. He can do a lot of different things. So would you rather have St. Brown or Calvin Johnson? Think about that. Let me know in the comments. So he's excited about St. Brown. My point on that is like we have a great receiver in St. Brown, almost as good as in a different way as like a Calvin Johnson. He's so versatile, can do so many things. So you've got our core offensive pieces. Ben Johnson coming back for year 2 in, and we all know this, that improvement from year 1 to year 2 or anything you do. And that's the thing, you try to talk up when you get a new coach or a new system. Oh, it's gonna be great, new. But the truth is, and we all know this, that's you're further behind than another organization or another team that's in year 2, year 3 with a coach, with a system. That's just the way it is. So the more you do something, the better you get at it, no matter what you're doing. So our offense is going to be in year 2, Ben Johnson, staff, Goff, Goff with Johnson. I mean, the whole thing is really shaping up. And then when you look at the Super Bowl a couple days ago, what you realize was you have to be innovative offensively. You just have to, because offenses are have the advantage. And so if you don't take advantage of that, you're going to be in a big trouble. So we have an offense that is innovative. And so we're way ahead, and we know that. And as Lions fans, we've got finally, for the first time, I mean, you look back at this was not innovative. Anthony Lynn was trying to run the ball. Bevel, Jim Bob Cooter, no. Linehan. I mean, as Mike Martz, as innovative as it was, Mike Martz was trying to throw the ball. It just never worked. This is an innovative combined with, and I keep talking about this theme with Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell is innovative, but he's physical and gritty. It's both. You have to be that. Still football. You can't just be out there trying to do all these weird plays. You have to have this rhythm, and that's what Ben Johnson has. So what we have in our offense finally is an innovative offense that can still run the ball, still be physical, still go forward when we need to. So you don't want to over hype our offense because it did so well, finishing the top 5 in almost every category. But the point is, I think we're not going to drop off. That's, like, look, fine, we'll be top 5 again in all the offense of categories. Great. And then hope that our defense, you imagine if our defense would have just made a couple stops in that first 6 games of the season, 7 games of the season, would have been in the playoffs. And that's what we're looking at this year. Make a couple stops, because the formula is there. We're going to be at home. Think about all our home games. Say we have 8 home games. Up and down the field, forward field, crowds into it, defense is getting stops. Those are wins. And then you get to the end of the season, you win 10 games, win the division, whatever, home playoff game, boom. So that's another thing he said. That's another video be looking for. He talked about why he returned, and one of those things had to do with a home playoff game and his vision for that. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Calvin or St. Brown? See you in the next one.